There's nothing more exciting than a brand new season. In a season like this, Johnny, where top 16 is no longer good enough, you have got to get a hold of that top 5 to be able to go over to that international LAN. You are here, you are sprinting. There is no such thing as an easing in period to this season.
Yeah, and I think both of these teams, they're two of the teams I think need this good start. I wasn't too worried about NRG in the last round. Even if they lost to G2, I have such confidence in their consistency to bounce back and just make it into that top 5, no matter what. But I struggle to find that same belief in EnVy and FaZe, pretty much because NRG, I think, are in a league of their own right now.
Let's get into it. Best of 7 as it has been. Both teams will have access to a timeout each. As we already see Atomic off the backboard. Is this going to be an early goal? Here comes Turbo, 1-0.
Okay, well, that's a good start for EnVy. Very explosive stuff from Atomic, and going straight through that smoke screen, catching the backboard with the pass, and then demoing first killer in net as well. You just ran straight through FaZe to get things started. And you know, FaZe are often called that mechanical team, but I think EnVy have got that in Mist and Atomic as well. This is not going to be a one-sided match mechanically.
Yeah, it's very difficult to find a weakness over on EnVy. It's just a case of whether or not they've got the overall quality to deal with a team like NRG throughout this season, but that'll be maybe a worry for them later on. Right now, they've got the task ahead of them, and that is to try and get rid of FaZe. FaZe that really have got this player, one of the most exciting players that we've seen in North America for the last few years, first killer. Be very interesting to see how he's going to slot into this team. But right now, Turbo looks for another opportunity. That's a good save from first. But this midfield is owned by Team EnVy at the moment, and it's going to take some of those brilliant mechanics that you mentioned, Johnny, just to open it up. Yeah,
you're definitely looking at first killer and AJ, but mainly first killer, the new man on the roster. We're all seeing, can he perform when the pressure climaxes? This is the moment for them. They've made the bracket. How far can they go in it? AJ looking for a backboard pass. It's intercepted by Turbo though. EnVy reading FaZe's moves quite well at the moment. I really think it's about the solo plays in the setup for FaZe. That's what we need to keep an eye on. Backboards being well defended by both teams.
And you just get a feeling that maybe, you know, there's something that stylistically, because EnVy have already got a whole bunch of just really fantastic players that can go and challenge. And when you are looking mechanical against them, it gives them a bit of time to just read against you. They're not going to get caught out of rotation, which they tend not to do anyway. So it is going to have to be very confusing, sort of the approach that we're going to see from FaZe. Need to do something that some of the highest IQ in Rocket League doesn't quite anticipate, as first killer's shot easily taken over by Atomic, popped back up by Mist. Lovely 1-2 play between them. And it is quite comfortably out their own side of the field. One of the rare times that we have seen the blue side of the field so far. 2 minutes down. First killer wants to get back out, but difficulty once again with the midfield.
Lovely recovery there by Atomic with a chain well wave dash. And, you know, they're just kind of showing FaZe that they're not going to have that advantage that a lot of people maybe thought they would have. You put AJ first killer in the same team, you back him up with Illusion, who's, I think, always been criminally underrated. Probably by myself included over the years. So easy to forget how much he does for the team. Just look at EnVy controlling that midfield. They're focusing more on a 50-50 kind of game. Demos off the ball. FaZe all about the outplays. Now the mind game from AJ, but again, EnVy able to read it. Atomic, really a force to be reckoned with in the center of the field.
Illusion, there you go. There's some of the mechanics from him. Shot from AJ, or shot towards AJ, I should say. Just go off the backboard one more time. Good bump yet again. Team EnVy not all too afraid to just hold a player back or two, just find those bumps. There's the pass straight down. Atomic couldn't run onto it, so no real power. But that difference is still 1 goal. And Team EnVy, every single time they've been forced to defend, they've still got 2 or 3 people behind the ball. First killer cannot find the ball for the outplay. Here's Atomic one more time. He's got Turbo. He's also got the option to just shoot. And he almost managed to turn it in.
Yes, again, positioning for Illusion to get between the ball and the net. Now look at AJ again, slowing down that play. Not the first time that he's tried the mind game. EnVy will be privy to that. Both teams looking to play the ball into the back corners defensively. Turbo's actually kicked it out off the wall. That's going to go straight out. Illusion had a chance there. Unfortunately, gave the possession right back to EnVy. As FaZe continue to look at that backboard, attempting to get an opening there, but so far, no luck. EnVy defending it every single time.
And position like this, Team EnVy can be very difficult to break down. See at least attempts coming out from FaZe. They got a couple of bumps going. Mist called into action. Be very happy that the ball was originally played quite close to him. 50 seconds on the clock. Off the backboard one more time. They're just going to ease it to the other side of the field. As Atomic outplaying everybody. First kill has to go back to his own net, and instead he's dropped the ball to Turbo. And that will be one of the easier goals Turbo will score this season.
Yeah, Atomic is really quick with it right now. Bit of a mistake by First Killer, trying to hit the ball to his back corner. This spills into the middle for Turbo to shoot into the bottom left corner. EnVy in full control at the moment. It looks like what FaZe have tried in this game has not been the right strategy. Maybe trying to, you know, maybe got to be a bit lower in the play.
I think some of these need to be booms. Like they're going for a lot of air dribbles. You got to mix it up. Otherwise, the positioning is just going to be set for EnVy.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, EnVy are not leaving any openings at the moment, but FaZe have got to try and force their way through. That's what EnVy have been doing. Look at the reset by Mist. Turbo has double committed. Atomic misses. That's wide open for AJ, and he does score. So have EnVy just let FaZe back into this one.
Looking for what Turbo was after. He tried to take out a goalkeeper. And Atomic, just right over the top of his head. It was unnecessary from EnVy. Yeah, it would have been great if it went in. But now this is a little bit more tense for them. 15 seconds left on the clock. See where the kickoffs come through. See whether or not it gets the Johnny Boy seal of approval. Ooh. Does that one get the Johnny Boy seal of approval? I think it does.
I like that. I like that a lot. A little bit of a fake kickoff there from FaZe. They've netted a possession for themselves, but it's EnVy again, first to the challenge in the midfield. Pushing FaZe back in the closing seconds. Not a cutting bounce for it. EnVy does stay up, but they've easily grounded it. EnVy gave FaZe that one goal. I don't think they needed to give them, to be honest. The double commit from Turbo and Mist, and then the whiff from Atomic, definitely noteworthy. But apart from that, they did not look vulnerable at all in this matchup.
No, it looked like the way FaZe were playing was almost perfect for them, just the way they would want to play against a team like FaZe. So it's going to be up to FaZe. They're the ones that are going to need to make the adjustments and sort of figure out how they want to approach this. It's going to be very difficult as well, because we already heard Justin talk about how it is very difficult for a team like G2 to ease in and start playing around a player like Drees. And Drees is kind of a facilitator of sorts. So when you bring in someone like First Killer, yeah, you're changing a lot about what you tend to do. But for EnVy, that was perfect. And maybe one of the first times, actually, Johnny, on the fake kickoff that I've seen not even the player in the corner try and play. They just let it bounce and then just take it afterwards.
Yeah, I like that, though. You know, you got to give credit to FaZe. They didn't just go for a standard kickoff with, 15 seconds left. They tried to surprise EnVy, and EnVy have been quite well known historically for being the team who have got those tricks in the final few minutes and even the final few seconds, getting equalizers with fake kickoffs. So FaZe trying to do it to him didn't work out, but credit for trying. It really does come down to the start of this game too, though. FaZe didn't have a lot going on for them. Not many clear-cut chances, if any at all, except, well, of course, that one that EnVy gifted them. But as far as creation goes, FaZe not getting much done themselves.
Yeah, it was sort of a meaningless goal. It was sort of in hindsight. Obviously, it gave them a chance to come back in, but it wasn't something that they created. It's not something they can really utilize as knowledge coming into game number 2. AJ looking for the infield. First Killer. He's going to win the race to that. A little bit more of a pacey option from FaZe so far in game number 2. As Illusion once again, he beats Turbo to it. Do like this as a bit of an adjustment here from FaZe. Have they got the boost to keep this play going? Yes, they do, as Illusion pops on over. And now this is where you get that bit of space. After you use all of that, you've then got a team like EnVy all on the backline, and then you can utilize the air dribbles, the flip resets, everything like that.
Yeah, one opportunity there for Illusion, but a bit slow in the approach. It's difficult to fire a fast shot from that kind of position if you're air dribbling slowly, looking for that reset. AJ trying to pass the ball to himself off the sidewall here. It's, again, read well by Atomic, who seems to just be in the head of FaZe right now. He's predicting everything that they do, and the more demos raining in, and it's all EnVy on FaZe, it seems. They are just bullying them. In the NRG G2 series we just saw, both teams were going at it, but it's just all EnVy at the moment with the bumps in the demos.
Still no goals in it over here in game number 2. Atomic wants to find Mist. He'll be unchallenged. Not the power that he would necessarily want. But again, you already see Atomic just looking for players in the back line. It is a very hard focus. Just get rid of whoever you can, disrupt the rotation. see what you can get after the fact, but EnVy so far extremely physical and looking to go 1-0 up. They will do exactly that.
I mean, just look at all of the finesse that FaZe are trying to play with. And what do EnVy do? They just come ramming the ball into the middle. Turbo centers it. Yeah, just getting into a good position quickly. And Atomic attacks the near post equally fast. It's all about timing for that near post approach. Atomic showing that killer instinct. Right place, right time. EnVy continue to be extremely efficient with their possession.
So you get to see FaZe really break them down for a goal. Chance for a booming clear from first kill. He's going to take it. Turbo already in the midfield. Passes it straight on to Miss. What a pass that was. It would have been very difficult to communicate to all three players forward, but still very difficult to get it past EnVy over in that midfield. Now, off the corner. Quite the bounce Atomic would have needed as Turbo just cleans up. This has been very, very annoying, I feel, for FaZe, because they've got to get past two lines. One of them's in the midfield, and then by the time they get past that, they've already got somebody on the goal line. Let's go off the backboard. Atomic just takes it away. The 1-0 still the scoreline. AJ wants the outplay. He's got it past one, but it's like EnVy will just throw somebody. They don't care about losing that first player.
Yeah, and we can just see that everything that FaZe try is very one-dimensional. You know, you've got to be threatening shots when you're passing. You've got to be threatening passes when you're shooting. You've got to be threatening some kind of mind game if you're going for a flip reset shot or a backboard double. Just a bit too telegraphed for FaZe at the moment. EnVy able to predict their moves every single time, and even that last save that we saw, yes, it's close to the goal, but EnVy aren't going to let that in. That's, you know, routine save for them when they're playing this well. Missed towards Atomic now. Does get beaten by first killer cleanly, and oh, the bump from AJ, half a chance, but he's missed it.
Second time that there's just been a slight glimpse towards a goal-scoring opportunity. This might be their third. In comes AJ. Looking for the bump one more time. Couldn't quite do it. Now he breaks the other side of the field. This time, not going to be an accidental pass over to EnVy. First killer just gets it straight over to a teammate. And that's wasteful. Oh. That's also a team bump to get extra power on the clear. And I think that's about as close to finesse as we've got so far from EnVy.
Yeah, EnVy just brute forcing this matchup at the moment. That's a chance. Oh, what a shot! It's off the bar. First killer testing the woodwork, and now Illusion has just missed on his follow-up touch. You know, they're getting closer. You have to give it to them. FaZe hitting the bar twice now this game. And that would have been contender for goal of the day from first killer. Quite a speedy setup from him. Final 45 seconds, so FaZe still trailing by one. And the infield pass from EnVy does look threatening. It's off the backboard. Atomic off the backboard again. Good read by first killer.
Brilliant to take that away. There was already someone coming in for the shot. Here's first killer one more time. He can't quite control it. Still looking for the setup, but as always, EnVy, you blink and you've already got two players on the goal line. You have to be so quick to catch them on the transition. Now back into midfield. They're not making that same mistake. No point double committing. Keep a hold of it. Keep players behind the ball. In goes Mist. Loses the challenge to first killer. Atomic back down. AJ, he recovers it. Now off the backboard. Up goes Illusion. Oh! What a play that is. And AJ, gotta take another look at what he managed to. Gets bumped. Don't care.
Wow. What a recovery by AJ. Just noticing that he can still make a play on the ball despite the physicality of EnVy continuing to make an impact in this game. And Illusion drills the shot. Perfect placement. He saw the pre-jumping defender, goes underneath him. And this time, it is a late equalizer, not a late goal for FaZe. They've got another chance here before overtime. First killer with a triple tap. It's saved by EnVy, but only as far as AJ.
Oh, there's the infield. Two players needed. Just about kept out. Still 0 seconds on the clock. Mist puts that ball down. And this has been a shift over here in game number 2. EnVy defensively still looks solid, but we've seen a lot of that ball in the blue side of the field. Oh no, Atomic. The shot not quite with enough on it.
Yeah, well dealt with again by Illusion. His timing his saves and his clears very well. Both games he's had numerous stops as third man. Look at Atomic, he's so difficult to read, and that's, I think, contrary to how FaZe have been playing. They've been a bit predictable at times, but I don't think anybody has a read on Atomic. Look at first killer effortlessly wave dashing in the wall. Himself and Atomic have been doing that all series. It's just crazy to see the confidence to do something that's just so finicky and so awkward for such a small gain. That's just the confidence these guys have got in their mechanics.
Oh, that drops underneath AJ. Lucian well enough aware to it. Just trying to find those gaps in the midfield. That's actually going to work out pretty well for FaZe.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to find the block. Here goes first killer. Second wave of offense on its way in. And they've also taken out one player. Team EnVy, though, looking to reset. Mist already up. AJ, can he find the pass down? Here's some more bumps. FaZe have gone really aggressive with how they're trying to attack the goal line defense. And I do like that. They haven't necessarily switched away from the individual plays, but they're using off-ball players to just disrupt the goal line rather than just leaving it to the player to outplay everybody.
Yeah, and it's a full team effort now. You know, a lot of the time last season, we're seeing AJ have to really do a lot of the heavy lifting himself, but first killer's been huge in this matchup. Illusion with a deadly strike in this inside 10 seconds to go to equalize. They've all been impact players in this second game, and they're getting better with time. They've just got to be careful not to overextend. EnVy are just sitting back. We've seen them do this many times. They will absorb pressure all day. They don't mind playing like this. They're going to wait and look for that counterattack. First killer with a chance. Turbo's actually knocked it vertically, so somebody's going to need to follow up on that. He goes himself. Awkward for Turbo. And first killer's starting to get physical as well now. Great bump on Illusion there as he's trying to take off.
Having a battle of boost over in those corners. EnVy have done enough to at least survive. Turbo bumping away as Atomic wants to see if he can find a way past first killer. There's space for first killer. Wants to go top corner. Mist meets him halfway. Maybe the first time for EnVy to get themselves over into the orange side of the field for quite a while. Illusion almost found his way through, and now he's actually still downfield.
Ooh.
Shot will not be on target. But there's the danger. The first time we've really seen someone from FaZe just linger around waiting for the clear.
Yeah, with the redirect capabilities of these guys, that's definitely something they should be looking to continue to do. Those passes that you don't even need to plan, they just happen. You just land in the right place at the right time. Got to keep looking for each other in those positions. I don't think I've ever seen a series or a game with so many chain wall dashes being executed, not one has gone wrong. AJ getting involved in the action as well now. That's just the future of Rocket League happening before our very eyes. All of EnVy's in the air here. Nobody's able to get down with a missed shot. What on earth was that? That should have been on target, nothing, if nothing else, but EnVy getting away with a triple commit. None of those commitments had good recoveries either, and now they've almost scored. First killer, last second save.
Still over in the corner. First killer needs to get his team some breathing room. He's done exactly that, but still, that pressure is on its way. Turbo ends up leaving it as AJ just sneaks the ball around him. First killer being very aware of his peripheral, making sure that nobody's just going to come in from the blind spot and take the ball away from him. Now all the way back out. Nobody up in support. Switch sides of the fields now. FaZe, after all, well, the best opportunity we've seen, they might lose it off this. Mist will be disappointed with his shot. Just directly at the goalkeepers. We've now played 4 minutes of overtime, and we're just following up banger series after banger series, Johnny. It looks like we might have another one.
Well, that's not the infield pass. Illusion is looking for Atomic, reading it miles ahead of any of Illusion's teammates. It looks like it will not materialize for EnVy. At least not immediately. Now here's Turbo. He's got an infield option. Atomic's up for this. Double commit from FaZe. They're both out the game for a while, but Atomic actually unable to recycle this play, get it back into the danger area. You know, FaZe might want to start looking for 50-50s in the midfield, because look how close EnVy are together. They're looking for those tight-knit passes. Oh, great read by Illusion. That was tough. Atomic was definitely going to hit that. The double game now, just to add to the list of overtimes we've already seen today. Day one. Or day two, I should say, first day of the main broadcast, really delivering for North America.
Justin said that he thinks the depth of North America is at a level that we haven't seen before.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, no arguments whatsoever. An outstanding day of Rocket League, and we've got more coming your way tomorrow. But before then, we've got to find out who's even going to be playing at it, and we're no closer in this match. Overtime, 5.5 minutes. One clear-cut opportunity for FaZe. Outside of that, there's been nothing for either side. It has been a midfield war. Oh, that drops down.
Oh!
Miss.
Oh!
What a save by first killer.
What a save indeed. They're going to make another one though. Mist is still in the danger area and it's first killer with the recovery. Clearing the ball to the corner. Arbo sends it halfway back in as FaZe continue to struggle to get the clear ball that they're looking for. Mist and Atomic. So difficult to read at the best of times, but now they're really getting tricky with it. Looks like FaZe have broken free for now. Atomic's clear does hit the ceiling. That's going to bounce down. Tense stuff. FaZe have really put so much into this game and they'll feel like they should have won it already. And if they do end up losing, they're going to have 0-2 on the scoreboard. Devastating position for them to be in. A real must-win game. Illusion just about reads it. Oh, does he have? What a goal by Illusion. He had some adjustment to do after taking off in the wrong direction. Look at the finish with the underside of the car, though.
I mean, you've got to do something special to get past a defense like this. And they have done exactly that. FaZe. I mean,
Wow.
they've been on both sides of this. They felt like they should have maybe lost this 10 seconds left. They got into overtime. They felt like they should have won it. And then they finally finish the job. But I think the big thing is now that they've got that game win, is just how much of a shift that we saw from FaZe. It's no longer the individual plays. That was such a better team-wide performance to not necessarily move away from the finesse and the brilliance that we see from them mechanically, but to enhance it by using those slow plays to just attack goalkeepers. And we've got to see this one more time.
That's
what a
crazy.
hit.
Yeah, Mist saw that Illusion was up for this, but he's thinking there's no way that that's a shot on net. Definitely not a fast one. Illusion looked awkward. He took off slightly too far to the left, so a lot of adjustment to be done at the last second there. When you hit the ball with the underside of the car, it's really difficult to get power on it, but Illusion managed to avoid hitting it with the wheels. He just banged it in, air rolling into the ball as well. Really surprising power from that position. Completely caught Mist off guard.
So somehow, some way, we're only over in game number 3. First killer wants to try and get a goal nice and quick. AJ just far too close. Actually just kind of pops over to Atomic. He'll be very happy to see more plays like that from them in the future. Nice and easy to control, and now very awkward for FaZe. Well, awkward for some people, I guess. They've managed to just pass off to each other in midair, almost find themselves a goal. And actually, this is very tough. Mist has just caught himself out entirely. And that's 1-0 for FaZe after the stout defense we saw from EnVy in the last game, Johnny. That's a bit weak.
Yeah, Mist was definitely conscious of the FaZe player who was in the net, and he didn't want to stick around there and get bumped from behind, but he's driven out of position there properly. He's definitely expecting a touch from one of his teammates. You know, either way, whether or not you're expecting your teammate to touch the ball, you have to be a backup, you have to cover it, and he's not able to do so. That's a good save on the pre-jump by Atomic. First killer trying to slow the shot down behind him. FaZe absolutely turning this one around. Momentum absolutely on their side now. It's not a first killer carry. It's not even an AJ carry. If anything, it's an Illusion carry overall. He scored both the goals in the last game. He's putting in work in the midfield. Everybody was talking about, you know, does this guy deserve to be on a team with such all-stars? I think he is proving right now that he absolutely does.
Pull out to Turbo. Wants to try and find the far side. I mean, being a goalkeeper in this series just looks like an absolute nightmare. Everyone is just hunting you down. Atomic. He's got 2 players to aim for. Instead, he's just dancing around everybody. To your point about Illusion, I feel like he's just sort of... He has definitely caught a bit of a reputation that he doesn't quite deserve. Maybe the slower way that his career necessarily started. Just took a while to shake off that reputation, but anyone that's judging him by that, this is a very, very different player that we are dealing with these days.
I mean, he's been rated as a positional player. He's been rated as one of those players who can just bring the best out of his teammates. But you look at that Game 2 performance, 2 brilliant goals. You know, one within the final 10 seconds of a game to equalize when his team looks completely out of options and out of ideas. And then the ridiculous read off the corner while mid-air recovery and an adjustment at the last second to send a vicious shot on target. You know, these are mechanical plays from Illusion. He's not just a positional player. This guy is, well, I don't think he's going to be underrated.
We're well beyond that.
Yeah.
Being just a positional player means, yeah, thanks, you're out in the qualifiers these days. You've got to be able to do everything, and you've got to be able to do it to the best possible level. AJ wants the pinch. Very well tracked down there by Atomic. First killer looking for the setup. Case advantage so far for FaZe. Although that demo's going to help out EnVy a lot. More fireworks coming through. It is going to be FaZe with a decent advantage, though, in manpower. Turbo with AJ waiting for it. Can he keep this going? Instead, just leaves it for first killer. It's a slow build-up over in the corner. Maybe just trying to latch onto the anticipation there EnVy have been showing. Maybe just get them to jump for one or two plays that aren't quite there. AJ flip reset over the top of Turbo. First killer drops it down. Where's the finish? Oh, that deserved something. One goal advantage. Yeah, fine. Stay in the midfield. Don't overcommit. But man, I wanted to see that go in.
I just wanted to see how first killer got into that position again on the replay. So, of course, rooting for a goal there just to find out what on earth he managed to pull off in that position. Turbo just the no-look dodge in the demo there. It's now first killer. Sets up a long-range air dribble. The 50-50 game looking very solid for FaZe. And this is something that, I talked about in the last game. I reckon they should be doing this whenever they can. EnVy are quite happy to throw themselves in at the ball. They've shown us many a time in this series they don't mind just lunging in, and if you can control those challenges, manipulate those 50-50s in your favor, you're the team who are going to have more players in the play as EnVy throw themselves at it and perhaps take longer to recover.
It is simply one of those things of, if you're going for the complete outplay and just don't want your opponents to touch the ball at all, Solution should be back on just barely. Actually, first killer immediately turns around, sets himself off at the backboard. Wasn't quite the bounce that he was after. In comes Illusion one more time. Yeah, if you are going for the outplays and you just don't want your opponents to touch the ball at all, then you're fine. You can just send players like EnVy have been doing. But when that switches and you see these players like First Killer, Illusion, get the challenges that they want and play it for a challenge rather than the outplay, then it becomes difficult because they set the rules of that challenge. They tell you when they're going to meet you and get themselves up entirely as we are in the final few seconds. Illusion just try and pull himself back. It's up to him now to try and deal with Mist, and that's the bounce they would have wanted to see as Atomic couldn't get there in time. FaZe Clan 2-1 up.
Yeah, they're looking like the better team now. They managed to, well, I mean, it was all EnVy until 10 seconds to go in game number 2. And since then, FaZe have had a visible edge. The creativity is definitely theirs. EnVy's bumps and demos, those physical plays that were, netting possession plays, chances on net, even goals earlier in the series, haven't been working as often. It's not that EnVy have stopped trying to do that. It's that FaZe now know that that's what EnVy are trying to do, and they're dodging it a bit more. They're playing further apart, so it's harder to get those chain demos, one player after another. So full credit to FaZe. They've adapted mid-series here. They've definitely got the momentum in their favor. It's up to EnVy now to show us what they can do, because they're more than just a team who are going to rely on bumps and early challenges to get victories. We know these guys can do special things in a Rocket League series. They've got the experience as well, and now's the time they need to be pulling that out, Shogun.
Yeah, I mean, we said earlier on that we wanted to see what FaZe could maybe evolve into throughout this series. It's now over on EnVy. What I feel like I love most about the changes that we've seen from FaZe is that they've kept the core idea of what their team likes to do, and they've just moved a couple of pieces around. Just make sure you're not in this particular position. Make sure you're not available for the bump on its way through, as you mentioned, Johnny. And I love it. I love it when a team can find different ways to play their same style and just change what they're doing depending on their opponents. For EnVy, now their turn. They've got to try and figure this out, because losing this puts them against 3 match points against a team that has got a lot that they want to prove. And as we mentioned earlier on, puts you on the back foot for the rest of the season already. Like, it's crazy just how quickly we are right into this.
Yeah, it is wild to think that one of these teams will be starting essentially 5th equal in the standings. Now, you need to be 5th. You need to be top 5 if you want to go to that first major. That's what everybody's thinking about right now. So getting into the semifinals, is a huge edge. This is, you know, I think the biggest round of the entire tournament at the moment, because you're just putting so much pressure on those teams like G2 and like Xtet.
This is the must-win, I feel, for a lot of teams. Then tomorrow is the, okay, we got it. Gonna go and just get ourselves a championship.
Yeah, this is where you need to put everything out there, you know, leave nothing on the field.
Today's probably the day that you keep yourself in contention. Tomorrow's the day that you might just secure your spot. Because you get that victory, you get that championship, you just have to do something special to not qualify. And Turbo gonna give us a special shot, top corner. And as always with EnVy, it's nice and simple what they go for, but they effectively do it so well.
Yeah, great shot there by Turbo. You really opened up an angle. It convinced the goalkeeper he's shooting to the top right. You can see that AJ was kind of half turning that direction as the shot came in. Then last second, Turbo comes across, goes into the top left. AJ wasn't able to react in time. Perfect placement by the veteran, by the 4-time world champion. He's not done, never satisfied, no matter how many wins he gets.
Make sure you still reigning world champion, Turbo.
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, that's a double commit. Up goes Turbo. Thankfully, from that double commit, the ball was just floating around up towards the ceiling for the longest time, so plenty of time to get somebody to help out. Who's going to be first? Nobody really challenging from FaZe. AJ, can he recover? I feel like we just need to throw these players into just really random positions to see, all right, can you still get a flip reset from here? And the answer will 90% of the time still be yes, no matter how awkward you make it for them. Although that's maybe not the bounce they're after. Missed. Just changed the angle, but he just contorted the car into the perfect position.
I mean, that is just a disgusting read by Mist. He's up before the bounce, but he still knows exactly where it's going. Turbo probably giving him a shout there that it's coming straight down, and Mist having full faith. Had the pre-jump for the dunk on the goal line. EnVy so clinical like they were earlier. They're taking their chances. That's been, I think, one consistent thing for them this series. And we know EnVy are consistent. This is something that we don't have to learn about them today. FaZe, you know, we're not yet sure. We're seeing a very high peak. I think that the best game performance that we've seen so far this series has got to be FaZe. I think they've had the higher peak, but can they be as consistent as EnVy over the course of a best of 7? No, nothing left up for your luck here. This is a long series.
EnVy are, whenever you play against them, just a brick wall. So difficult to just get them to break down. We're not talking about just defensively, but just to keep making consistent mistakes. You know, we see a lot of teams lose a couple of games in a row. Suddenly they start to look like shells of themselves. EnVy play every game like they were winning it. There's the drop down pass, well read by Atomic. AJ, AJ's picking this up as we go through. He's getting those reads. I mentioned earlier on how we felt like Atomic's got it. AJ is just over everything. Oh my missed opportunity, and he slaps the ball into the net.
You know, quite a few times this game, we're seeing Illusion having to retreat back into the corner. He thought he had a way past Mist there, and he thought wrong. Mist predicts perfectly where that ball is heading and sends it into the open net. Tough position for Illusion, but, you know, there were other options. Of course, with a 2-goal deficit, he's thinking about a win in the position as well as keeping it under control. And maybe, you know, if you can sneak that ball past Mist, counter an attack for FaZe, and they do need that late in the game, trailing. Oh, big bomb. But Illusion's open it up for AJ. FaZe on the board.
Yeah, Turbo just wide-eyed, I suppose, as soon as this comes in as Illusion. He goes hunting. Easy enough demo. Turbo didn't really have too much pace on the car to start with, and that offers at least a brief glimmer of hope over to FaZe. Booming shot from first killer. It's off the backboard, well covered by Mist. Can't afford to give over a second goal this quickly. As always, goalkeepers, you've got to plan out getting to that ball as the shot comes in, and you've got to do it in a way that makes sure that you're avoiding the player that's just coming to take your car off the field. Back down, Atomic turns. Get Turbo over to help him, bit of moral support. And if you're just looking to meet these challenges, not outpacing, just want to get the second touch. There's the shot, Turbo. That should secure this game for EnVy.
Yeah, Turbo sticking around here because you've got Atomic flying off the wall. All eyes on him. Turbo, he maybe got a call from Atomic that the whiff was in fact going to occur, and he knew to be up and ready for that second ball. And this is something EnVy do very well. You know, they're playing very close together here. It's hard not to double commit when you're playing this tight, you know, close quarters with your teammates. But they managed to, you know, find a way to make it work. Excellent communication, great reading of each other's play.
First killer, he's not going to have a passing option, so he's got to go pretty much by himself. 30 seconds left. EnVy looking like they're about to tie up this series. Pass to Atomic if it wasn't sure yet. There you go, 5-1. And a smashing shot into the top corner.
Yeah, fantastic technique by Atomic. The air roll for the angle and even the height to make sure that there's no goalkeeper going to save this. EnVy, clinical. That's really all you can say about them. That's all you need to say about them for this game. They are taking their chances. They're putting shots on net, and FaZe are just not ready for them. You know, still, even with FaZe winning a couple of games in a row there, I don't think they ever reached the same level as EnVy have had this series when it comes to reading your opponent. FaZe really can't read EnVy that easily because they're so tricky and they're so awkward in their approach, even sometimes using fakes to their advantage. You know, how are you supposed to get a read on that when, I mean, you're against Turbopulsa. Sometimes I feel like he's making it up as he's going along, so you're never going to have a chance, really. A little bit of constellation for first killer and FaZe. And lovely double touch there. Illusion with the pass, but it's way too little too late.
Something that we saw earlier from FaZe that has been pretty useful for them, though, is that they're not necessarily going for the boom clears, and then also not always going for individual outplays and air dribbles now in defense. They've got a couple of like just pop passes that they do into the midfield. And I quite like it because you've got these players over on FaZe that are so capable of just getting up there, catching the flip reset. It always lands in the perfect spot for them and just taking it from there. So it is a nice little third option that FaZe have given themselves. But it's also an option that only works if you're in a close game.
Man.
And for EnVy, this was just one-sided. I think the best way to say it, they just got away from them.
Yeah, and you know, at times I think maybe FaZe are giving EnVy too much space, too much respect in the midfield. You've really got to just stick a challenge in, especially when EnVy have 3 players around the ball and you don't know which one of them's going to hit it. Well, you better go and be the one to hit the ball, not let them have that free reign so close to your net. But still, I think FaZe looking pretty good here. They tried to take a few risks after going down 2-0 in this one. It ended up just making matters worse for themselves. But those are the risks you've got to take when you're against EnVy, who defend so well once they get in front. You need to take risks if you're going to have a chance to come back.
Yeah, obviously some people might look at that result or the scoreline from the last game and think, oh, wow, suddenly this is all EnVy. Nah, the first few goals gave that one to EnVy. You don't make that sort of ground back up on a team like them. We've also got to look towards like 2 games of brilliance that we had from FaZe beforehand. So everything to play for here, heading into game 5. Winner of this one will have 2 match points. Not be even remotely surprised if we're going to Champions Field. This momentum is just consistently swinging back and forth. Illusion looking for the follow. He's got the block. Can keep going. AJ once again to the corner. First killer's waiting his opportunity. Another double commit. As always, even when EnVy do double commit, they call it halfway through, so it's not as bad and the recoveries can still be there. Turbo. Give that over to Atomic in the far corner. He's backing down. Wants first killer to challenge him. Needed that commitment from first killer before he was even going to consider moving in. Again, FaZe just cutting out the infield pass. They've got to be so aware of that all the time.
Yeah, it was first killer with a really solid read on the passing play. You know, he wasn't in a position where he could challenge the ball or defend the net, so might as well cover that passing option, just making himself as useful as possible. Dunk still. So they're happening so often for EnVy. The confidence these guys have in their challenge game is just insane. I mean, they're throwing themselves in every single time against FaZe, who are known as a very fast team. So why is there no concern about getting beaten to the ball? EnVy don't know about that. Oh, wow. Tell me that he knew about that one. I don't believe you. It's still a great goal, though, off Atomic's extremely tough to read pass. If that goal doesn't, tell you all you need to know about Turbo, I don't know what will. That's the most Turbo play I've seen in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, start the counter. We've got this season's first Turbo goal. May we see many more.
Oh no! I mean, I feel like even Atomic wasn't quite sure. Oh, look at the mind games.
Oh,
AJ's passed through here.
AJ, what a play!
That is disgusting. Double fake from AJ, and then a top corner flick as well. It wasn't. The job's not done here. He's still got Atomic to beat, and what a flick! Placing it from close range with confidence.
He's just carved them apart with that. One quick stop. And EnVy were just wide open. What a play. I mean, that's ridiculous. We just saw what we consider to be a Turbo play. That's an AJ play that we just got hold of. That's what AJ does. That's what he brings to the table. Turbo pops the ball back out. Atomic just has to try and follow it. Over to Mist. Oh, wow. First killer. Make sure that top corner was more than covered.
I mean, that's just
I'm just going to keep this going.
The reaction time there by First Killer is crazy. He's got such a knowledge of where to position in net, where he needs to be one of the best shot stoppers in the world. He always has been known for that, especially with his 1v1 upbringing that he's had. Even though if you want somebody to shadow a play, you can't get many better than First Killer. He really is top tier in that regard. And keeping the ball under control as well. It's not just getting a save, it's getting a useful save. He's doing that every single time that he's asked to.
Good challenge from Mist. Even managed to get it uncontested with how well he timed it. Now Atomic's turn. Does have Mist over on the far side. Tries to use him. Good use of the wide angles so far from EnVy. They're not just going straight down the field. Forcing FaZe just to follow them around a little bit. Left to right. Waiting for their chance to just sort of break through. As Atomic's still over. He'll be the passing option. Goes towards the backboard. Zero boost for AJ, but he's not going to let anyone else know about that. Almost found Turbo's car as well. 90 seconds left on the clock here, Johnny. We're still no closer to figuring out who's going to be winning this series.
Yeah, First Killer chasing down Atomic now. It's a bit of a role reversal from what we had in game number 1 and the start of game number 2. FaZe coming to life now. I think that mind game from AJ has done them work with that illusion. Not sure who was behind him there. Had to just play the ball and hope for the best. He's done well, and actually a 2v1 now. AJ going to take it all the way himself. Atomic's forced him high, and he's still not going to be able to stop him. AJ just barrels right through him, and FaZe lead with just over a minute to go.
There's a moment here that you see for Atomic where he thinks, oh no, I'm going to get hit by this. And he still has to take his chance. What a play. And AJ has been the standout player of the past, I'd say, 3 games. Yes, obviously the last one not going in his team's way, but he's had brilliant reads. He's offering his team everything they need at the moment. If there is anyone that can kind of get into the minds of what EnVy are about to do next, AJ might be the best person to go towards. Here's Atomic, his own reset attempt. It's not quite what he was after, but sometimes even a missed mechanic is good enough to catch somebody out at this level because they just don't expect it.
That's a good chance, but again, First Killer is there to shepherd the ball into the corner. It's safe. Only for a time, though, as now the demo leaves the net open. Mist puts it in the top corner. And more physical play for EnVy at the perfect time has got them an equalizer.
Just because it wasn't working for a little while doesn't mean you abandon it. Take out the goalkeeper. And Mist will just put that one in. 2 each. 30 seconds left. And the North American Open continues to deliver. We're not done with regular time just yet. Mist to himself, he avoids a Lucian. Wants to go underneath AJ, can't quite do so. First Killer was also already up, pre-jumping the original play. Looking to go with one more. Turbo. He ends up missing it. Mist looks to drop. Who's going to have one more shot at this before we go to overtime? Atomic wants to find the catch. He's not quite got the play that he was after. Next goal wins it and sends his team over to match point.
How many overtimes are we going to have today? This is getting ridiculous. At least one more. EnVy were the ones equalized to get us here, so I feel like they're going to have a great mentality in this one. Can FaZe level themselves out? Here's a chance for Illusion. Oh my goodness, what a clear from Mist. Catching it after the back wall bounce. End-to-end stuff. And EnVy have really started opening up the can when it comes to those hard clears. Going from slow and awkward to now an explosion, but oh, it's a chance. Mist is there to save it. It was, I think, AJ's ball to play, but he didn't realize it was open behind him.
Oh, pass off to Turbo. Sets himself up on the first play as Illusion back to the corner. Mist called off. He's just going to take his time. Once again, forcing FaZe to play the ball initially, and almost first killer hitting the ball into his own teammate. He's got away with that. Turbo takes the challenge from AJ, dances past. It's Atomic's turn. Off the ceiling, Mist over in support. Will he even need him? It's off the backboard, and Illusion back to the corner.
Yeah, great coverage there by FaZe. We had one player challenging the ball, forcing the touch early and forcing it high. That's where Illusion was, on the back wall, ready to intercept, the only option that EnVy had. Starting to play off each other really well in defense. Again, first killer, just making a play on the ball. They're not giving EnVy that space that they, I think, gave them too much of in the last game. AJ's got some space for himself. He's here dribbling into the corner. What can he do from here? Still a center ball, and Turbo's popped it vertically. No one there in the near post area for FaZe.
Even managed to pinch it over the top of the oncoming challenge. Turbo buys his team some time, but what can you do against AJ? Didn't get the reset shot. Now looking for the pop-up. 2 players moved. AJ's just going to keep that pressure on. You can see the respect for him at the moment. Just anywhere that is not the AJ challenge is what EnVy wanted. Very awkward for EnVy. They can't get momentum as they run onto these shots. There's nowhere for them really to move. So FaZe will probably have an advantage on the majority of these challenges. Popped up, missed. Just didn't even consider going for it. I don't know how he was doing for boost. Oh, there we go. Over to AJ, missed, immediately smothers the shot.
Yeah, FaZe tentative to commit everybody on these plays. That's another bump, actually, and AJ having a cover for what was looking like an awkward ball bouncing close to the net. And you can understand why FaZe are playing quite standoff, even though they've got EnVy on low boost, even though they've got them backed up into the corner. And this is something EnVy are quite comfortable with, and they're known for just defending these positions for ridiculous amounts of time and then counter-attacking. FaZe don't want to fall for that trap.
Atomic has support over in the midfield. Again, wanted to go solo. Maybe you could do it just mixing it up a little bit more as it's become a little bit easier for FaZe to read. And yet again, off the backboard, Illusion meets it. Turbo wants to keep that pressure on as his team rotates back into the midfield. Actually, a short 3v2 advantage for them. Might be able to take advantage of this.
Oh,
in comes Turbo off the backboard, uncontested for the time being. And Atomic once again off the backboard. So your opportunities to score are just moments long. And by the time that you haven't taken it, FaZe, as awkward as it was for them, have already set themselves back up in defense.
Yeah, I'm surprised not to see a shot on target there for EnVy. It's something they were just doing very well earlier on, putting the ball on the net and seeing if FaZe have really got all angles covered. But there, a couple of uncontested touches do not hit the target. EnVy losing that killer instinct as again another shot rattles off the post. Missed, has to be hitting the target there. A lot of chances going astray for EnVy.
Atomic just wants to keep that ball moving. Back to Mist, looking for Turbo, first killer. Far too quick, now off the backboard. Who's going to be there for it? It was too much of an angle anyway for anyone really to follow. AJ, that's not what he was after. That kills the play dead. And instead, now it's his team that needs to get themselves back. We are end to end over on Wasteland.
What a read by
And this isn't even to win the match yet. Like, Johnny, we've still got another game to go at least.
And, you know, it feels like this is for the series. So much has gone into this. Atomic off the bar is sent straight down the middle by first killer. He has to follow that, and he does. But Mist is still there. And he's going to stay on the ball here. Doesn't want to leave that and give FaZe a free touch. EnVy do look threatening, though. They're putting shots towards the goal. Far more consistency than FaZe are. FaZe have got the solo playability from all 3 of their players. They've been on fire today, just producing individual goals and individual outplays.
5 minutes of overtime down. Double commit. Turbo's going to have an opportunity to control this. He doesn't do the best job the first time round, but more than recovers it after the fact. First kill, he's got AJ far side. AJ up. Not the best first touch, but he looks to try and recover. Solution. First one, just going to go a little bit higher, get his teammates back a little bit further.
Oh my,
Continue the play, but this is ridiculous, Johnny, and we're still going.
Yeah, these positions, I don't know how First Killer makes it out of these positions so comfortably. He always just seems to have the ball glued to his car in spots where you think he's going to either miss it or just lose a challenge. I mean, he doesn't know the meaning of those phrases. Now AJ in a 1v2. He has to flick early because of Atomic's fake challenge. EnVy, again, shutting down the FaZe offense without having to wait for a shot to come towards their net.
This has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant so far. And it just makes you wonder, what is it going to take? Is it going to be the outplay or is it going to be a mistake? What is going to be the difference maker here? Atomic meets it in the midfield. Turbo Pulse already up. Just about beats First Killer over in the midfield. Missed. Waiting for his opportunity. There's his chance. It pops out. Turbo can't run onto the shot, but he just wants to try and keep that pressure on. You can see both teams, like, the plays we're seeing right now aren't just to go straight to net. They know they've got to break the other team down. Or you can go for something like that, First Killer. Oh my word.
Get out of here. First Killer absolutely sends it to the top corner. That is absurd. Mist was in the net. He was about as ready as you could be for a shot. But it doesn't matter when it comes at you that quickly and that accurately. Well, I guess that answers the question. What's going to win out?
Not a mistake. Pure brilliance.
Is it the consistency? Is it the awkwardness? Is it just how difficult EnVy are to play? Or is it just going to be a massive individual play from FaZe? Oh, it's FaZe, and this time it's First Killer. I think they've all had a standout game. It's First Killer's turn here. Even earlier on, we had AJ popping off. These guys just have that factor. They can create goals out of nothing.
If you are watching Rocket League Esports for the first time, if you've seen all of the cool announcements that we've had coming out and thought, you know what, I want to check that out today. Welcome! It is always this fun. I can guarantee you that. FaZe and EnVy are putting on a show on a day that has been full of brilliant, brilliant matches between everybody that we've seen.
Man.
And we've still got at least another game to play in this series. We've still got another match to play after this one. This has been ridiculous, dude. And I cannot wait for even more. Thankfully, Johnny.
Wow.
I don't need to wait too much longer for any more. It is all up to this. EnVy have got to win 2 in a row against a FaZe that have been everything we've wanted them to be.
I just still can't believe that shot. That's such a good shot by First Killer. He threw himself at it as well. It's not like he waited, because he knows the faster that he throws himself forward at the ball, actually the quicker the shot's going to go away from him. It might sound ridiculous, but that is how Rocket League works. When you're redirecting the ball, you want to have as much momentum in the opposite direction as the shot that you're shooting. That's exactly what First Killer's done there. Executed to not just perfection. I mean, that is the golden standard right there. You actually cannot get better. I mean, if he did that 1 time out of 100, you'd be impressed, but he's done it 1 out of 1.
FaZe have got their chance here to put this series to rest. But it'll be anything but easy. We've only seen 1 game so far that was a bit of a blowout, and that was over to Team EnVy. That was after they got a couple of goals up, and FaZe just had to send it. Every single game since then has just been an absolute war. Now Mist wants to just try and find that opportunity as Lucian probably takes his chance. I mean, what do you do here? Like, if you're a coach, do you just sort of take a step back? Are you making small adjustments? I'm so curious. Hear what they've managed. Turbo sneaks it. Just waited for a second, lifted off, and that meant AJ went flying past this one.
Yeah, that's a misread by AJ, but Turbo nails it. So 1-0 EnVy already. You know, I think if if you want to watch FaZe, and I know what it's like to, you know, be a manager of a team. Oh, Turbo's just done it again. He's just flipping into the ball, and it's in.
Oh, no.
It's massive
The
stuff.
problem, though, Johnny, is we've now already got EnVy 2-0.
Oh, dear. That's just not allowed, though, from First Killer. I mean, what is he thinking to chip the ball up in front of him? Obviously, he's hoping that Turbo's faking a challenge, but EnVy have been diving into challenges all series long. Of course, there's a chance Turbo just flips into the ball here, and I think that's a bit naive of First Killer to try and read a fake challenge there when he's last man. Not just last man, he is the only thing between the ball and the net. So careless by FaZe, 2 misplays already, and EnVy have a huge lead.
Man, First Killer, so giving, isn't he? Just wants to give us another Game 7. We're very much on our way.
Oh my goodness.
A 92-second Turbo Pulsar hat trick.
And EnVy, they're just putting the ball in the net. It's pretty simple. I mean, Turbo's just in the right place at the right time, and he is just putting the ball in the net. FaZe haven't been able to do anything about it. You know, that was actually the best goal we've seen, though, from from EnVy, sorry, this game. Because Mist had options there. He could shoot, he could pass. He definitely disguised the infield pass very well, so not much FaZe could do about that one once Mist got into that position.
FaZe need to make sure now that this isn't just a procession over to Game 7. We've got to get something going nice and quick. Solution with First Killer over in support. You can see Atomic just sits right in front of First Killer. Everyone's doing a much better job these days of making sure those infield passes just aren't available. And we want to get a real game out of this. That is the best way to start it off.
Yeah, FaZe absolutely have to go for this. You know, they started off game number 4 and now game number 6 with a couple of mistakes. I think game number 4 was more positional. They were just playing a bit too passively. Game number 6, they've just simply missed the ball at key moments. But they have to go for this. They can't sit back and wait for EnVy to make a misplay, because outside of that one goal they threw away at the end of game 1, they don't really do that. That's not what EnVy are known for. They are going to quite happily sit in this position and wait for clear-cut chances. They don't take those risks too often. FaZe, they're going to need to go out and win this themselves. They're not going to be able to wait for unforced errors.
Lucian over to First Killer. First touch. Quite what he was after. Would have probably liked to just got that a little bit higher up so he could follow it. Turbo back over to Mist. Mist tries to control. AJ, as always, very good on the half rotation. Reads the play well. And as far as AJ off the backboard, that's a tough angle. AJ, that's sort of the angles that you got to go for at this point, though, with EnVy. They don't need to push too far out. You're going to have to pull something out of the bag if you're going to try and disrupt this defense. AJ, more than capable of that. Here's his second shot at it. You can already see the challenge coming through. That's one of the better challenges he's had, though. Double commit. And now Atomic can turn. He's going to try and serve his shot, but I think it's not quite quick enough. No, certainly is not. FaZe already back, but that was very, very nearly another goal in against them, and one just wouldn't have been needed at all.
Yeah, we saw the mistakes earlier on from AJ and from First Killer, just conceding 2 goals immediately. Now we saw one from Illusion. He's closer to the ball there, but his angle of takeoff is actually more awkward than First Killer, so he should be leaving that. First Killer should be flying over the top of Illusion to go for that aerial. Even though he's technically further away from the play, it's just easier to fly forward. Definitely if you're trying to shoot the ball quickly on target.
Atomic back to Mist. 1 minute left to find 2 goals. Lucian tries to make it difficult, but it's the shadow defense so far from EnVy. Just otherworldly from them so far. Mist, not the backboard bounce you would have wanted. We got used to this last season. Mist and a backboard double tap. It's as simple as just saying Mist has scored. You might as well skip a few steps half the time.
Oh, good save there by Illusion. First Killer positioned awkwardly and needed some help to clear the danger. FaZe really going for this. They are pressing up very high. It's, you know, definitely on the cards for them to concede again if they keep doing this, but you don't have a choice. EnVy are defending so well, they need to go completely all in here. This is another chance for them. Great pass. It's on target, but saved by Turbo.
What do you have to do to confuse EnVy? Like, they tried everything. There was so much trickery there. I'm going to shoot. I'm not going to shoot. I'm going to put that one back into the midfield. And instead, they just turn around, take the ball to the other side of the field, and score.
This is the nightmare scenario for FaZe. This is exactly what every FaZe fan was hoping wouldn't happen. But it's interesting to note that the 2 times they took a lead in this series, the 2 times that they immediately got destroyed by EnVy early in a game, I'm talking game 4, now game 6, they have to find a way to just take the game to EnVy in the opening stages here, because once EnVy get an advantage like this, even though FaZe have got immense solo play potential on their team, they just don't look like they're going to be able to create enough chances to come back from these deficits.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple of occasions where they've managed to solo play their way past 2 players, but once EnVy have got that cushion and that ability to know we don't need to send anyone forwards, it's a whole other ball game, because EnVy are just so incredible at positioning themselves, making sure that they've got players ready to take over, and they just send somebody immediately. Just go and get your play. We'll cover for that player afterwards. It's been a really, there's a lot of words here to say. It's been a great series. That's all I want to say. I love being back here, Johnny. This is brilliant.
It's been a bit, so it's great to be back. And I mean, we were wondering, what are we going to get today? Are we going to get a one-sided series? Are FaZe going to come and completely wipe the floor with EnVy? Are EnVy just going to come and capitalize on this new FaZe team who haven't had that much time to get used to playing with each other? Neither of those scenarios. We've got the dream, we've got game 7, but this is what they want. That's what EnVy wants. That's what Turbo wants. He's home. Can they bring it home?
Here we go. Game 7 brought to you by Verizon. Who can bring home glory for their team? Atomic off the backboard, and Turbo has already scored.
He's just on a spree at the moment. Effortless chip to send the ball down the line. Atomic at the end of a pre-flip, clips it middle, and Turbo with full faith all the way continues into the middle and scores in 6 seconds. It seems like it's written. I mean, Turbo's name is literally written on the wall here, so I guess we should have seen this coming, as we should always on Champions Field. And now's the time for FaZe to really go for this. They cannot sit back. They have to take the game to EnVy. They've had too much sitting back, waiting for mistakes, and trying not to lose. Now they've got to go and win. Go and get the win in this matchup.
Turbo's name up in the rafters 4 separate times. For him, this map is basically Control-C, Control-V. Put my name back up there because I've won another tournament. Missed. Oh, you can't be doing that. Dude, this is game 7. All right? Save this for later. You're supposed to be nervous. It's supposed to be a brand new tournament, brand new season. You're supposed to be nervous. And he's got none of it. It's just ice in his veins. And he almost found another goal. Somehow that's been kept out.
First killer with some kind of a triple touch save there. He had to squash the ball between his car and his own post to keep it out from an impossible position. That looked like a, destined 2-0. Turbo bumping the goalkeeper. He's just oozing with confidence right now, and it's spreading to his teammates, as it often does in these high-pressure situations. Can FaZe answer this call and this challenge that EnVy have sent their way? Right now, it just looks more likely that EnVy are going to score again, but here's a chance. AJ testing missed passes.
And this is where it's very difficult to strike a balance here for FaZe, because the worst thing that can happen right now is to concede a second. It's bad against most teams. Against EnVy, it's basically end of the series. They have got to do this, and they've got to do it in the smartest way possible with the timer ticking against them. AJ. Oh, he's just going the whole way. No resets, and now there's First Killer. We've seen what First Killer can score. A tap in like that is no problem.
AJ doing all the heavy lifting here. Just baiting Turbo into what Turbo thought was going to be a 50-50. It's actually just a bad clear straight down the middle. And it's not a goal for AJ, but it's just as good as one. Wide open net. I think First Killer and Illusion were both there to score it. So it just shows how great a pass that was from AJ.
And EnVy's ability to just settle on that lead is now gone. Job done for FaZe, at least for now. Second part is about to get underway. Make sure that you don't give that advantage over again. Wow. First killer, he's blocked. Turbo not even going to steal it, as Atomic just blasts his way through the challenge.
I mean, that is so cheeky by Atomic. He's the last man in the play, and he just goes for the ball. FaZe can't predict that because nobody should really be doing that. He's last man back. He's taking a 50-50. if that goes wrong, it might just be a goal for FaZe, but Atomic's banking on the fact that that's so unexpected, and it pays off for EnVy.
I am a personal fan of the strategy of this is too stupid that it has to work. Well, it's definitely worked on this occasion. 2-1. FaZe back under the microscope. Atomic going to be oozing with confidence at this point. No early challenges this time. Instead, Atomic's going to half rotate. EnVy are just winning everything now in the midfield. FaZe are having a lot more of this as we got to the mid of this series. And instead, EnVy have retaken control of this. Turbo over to the wall. First killer looks to follow, but as always with EnVy, there's always going to be contact on your card. There's no such thing as a free ball with them around. Now off the backboard, is this their opportunity? Atomic's died here. No chance for missed the score. And Turbo, well, you already knew he wasn't going to go straight in for the shot. Big opportunity.
Oh, chance actually. AJ run on ahead of the ball. He's done it. Missed, couldn't position in time. AJ scores after making the first goal earlier in the game. It's great control by AJ. The patience, found the spot in the bottom corner that he could get the ball in, and it's taken some time. They haven't had many chances, but FaZe have done it.
I think they've had 2 chances. They've scored both of them. FaZe have been clinical. They have not had the possession they would have wanted, but they've taken the most of what they have. And now maybe an opportunity one more time. There goes Turbo. How on earth did the goalkeeper recover to stop that one from going in?
I mean, AJ's just stopped time and floated in space there, waiting for the ball to come towards him. It made it, and now Lucian showing great composure, slowing down the play in defense. He's got 2 EnVy players to commit on the ball. Now first killer with an air dribble, no flip on the ball yet. He has to just settle for a 50. Can Lucian get a shot on? Yes, he can! No one in the goal for EnVy. FaZe lead late in the game.
And now it switches sides. EnVy, 48 seconds on the clock, have got to get themselves a goal or they are out. And FaZe would move on to the next round. We've seen how strong EnVy can be in the midfield. How quickly can they push up against this with time against them? Pass over to Atomic. There's no one really around. And here's where Lucian and the rest of FaZe are going to be so good. They're going to fake challenges. They're just going to make everything as difficult and as annoying as possible for 30 more seconds.
Yeah, they really have to be careful here, though. It's getting awkward for them. Lucian has been so composed this entire time, even when they were trailing. And a great touch from first killer. Oh, hold on. It's set back on, though. And there's AJ with the dive bomb save.
Way.
Final few seconds.
Oh, but there's Turbo straight into the middle. That had to be top corner. Atomic turns. Another double save. When is Mist going to move in? He's on 0 boost. He's got a decision to make. No boost over in the corner as well. So for Mist, this was the worst time to run low on the fuel. As that's over the top of Turbo. They have to recover this play. They keep it going.
Wow.
It will drop down. And FaZe have won a classic.
That is telling. What a comeback by FaZe. We knew EnVy were going to bring it at the tail end of the series. We knew when we got into the final games that they would bring their best performances, but the composure from FaZe, losing not just by score, but also in seemingly every aspect of this 7th game, territory, chances on net, possession, it didn't matter. They just took their time, they slowed down the play, and they punished EnVy for a double commit late in the game. They punished EnVy for sending a few too many players at the ball with not enough boost to recover. And that, I think, is so important for this young team. The fact that they've done this early in the season is going to give them so much confidence moving forward.
I was going to say, I'm just looking at the brilliant play, but that can apply to anything that we just saw over that 5 minutes. I mean,
man.
But for me, still AJ, the standout here. On a series that had everybody, all 6 players really stepping up to the challenge, AJ, to me, showed so much to his game and showed us that bringing first killer on doesn't mean we see less AJ. It means he's even more unlocked than we've ever seen him before.
Yeah, Illusion as well. You know, we're wondering how is he going to slot into this team with such dominant teammates. Sometimes when you're playing with a player like that, as we saw from Rogue last season with First Killer, you can shy away sometimes and not really be an impact as your teammate is taking all the limelight for himself. That didn't happen today for Illusion. He's played a phenomenal series, and this is everything FaZe wanted. They've got a tough quarterfinal matchup. They've won it. And now they're just going to wait and see who they face tomorrow in the semis. It's only up from here.
Yeah, and this is a moment now where you've got to sit there as EnVy, and you sit here now for 2 weeks before you have your chance to respond. You are now tied 5th with 4 other teams, and you've got to be ready to go. Just going to add it, because obviously we talked about Illusion, we talked about AJ. First Killer, brilliant as always. I feel bad about First Killer because he has to just do something ridiculous for us to even talk about him. It's just, yeah, First Killer was brilliant. What else do you expect?
Well, he had goal of the day, but he also had so many saves. It was AJ's setup that brought FaZe back into that last game, but think before that to First Killer's save, where it looked like just a done deal. EnVy would be leading 2-0 inside the first minute again, and somehow First Killer pinches the ball off his own post to keep his team in the game. It wasn't just the stunning offense that we all know and love. He's still got that world class, that absolutely best in the world goalkeeping, shot stopping, and controlling defense. Just a stunning and impressive performance there by FaZe, and the fact they've done it from behind. If they'd swept EnVy, I think I'd be less impressed, because that would indicate EnVy aren't really showing up today. EnVy played well. They did what they always do, and FaZe still beat them.
Yeah, this has been an absolutely phenomenal day of Rocket League, and those of you at home, we are not done just yet. We have got one more quarterfinal coming your way, and it's coming up after this break.